As we all know, data is the bedrock foundation to AI, modern AI systems today. And companies and people, organizations have pretty much built models and trained models with predominantly text and image data. But in order for many of the promised systems that AI will deliver and drive, such as intelligent manufacturing, collaborative robots, physical robots, and other things like that, what's missing is data about the real world, about the physical world. And so that demands that we train models in AI with video data. And so our next company is addressing that opportunity to provide real life video data from the physical world to help train AI systems. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce the founder and CEO, Ben Nunez of Evercoast.
Nice, appreciate it. I don't know how I'm going to follow bourbon and whiskey, but I'm going to do my best. I want to thank Tony, thank the entire DataTribe crew, thank all of you for giving me an opportunity to stand up here and talk about Evercoast. And it all starts with this. The world's most important technology is now physical. Machines are running our factories, they are delivering our food, they are diagnosing medical conditions, and they will ultimately take care of our loved ones. We are in the era of physical AI. This is a multi-trillion-dollar transformation reshaping every industry that touches the physical world. But in order for this transformation to happen, physical AI needs massive volumes of training data, of real-world training data. We cannot hallucinate our way into physical AI. As cute as this is, we are not making cartoons. The stakes are way too high in physical AI. Unfortunately, that data doesn't exist. There is no internet-scale corpus of physical training data. LLMs have had the luxury of trillions of tokens of human language and centuries of human language. Generative video has had hundreds of billions of hours of YouTube video. Physical AI has, at best, thousands of hours of public training data. It is a gap that is simply large and needs to be closed. And so there's this frantic effort underway to capture more of the real world and bring it into the training simulator. There are sort of huge data efforts, data collection efforts that are going on, capturing people doing all kinds of different things from, packing boxes and moving pallets to washing dishes and folding laundry. And they're doing so with all kinds of different sensors and cameras and modalities. In fact, every year, over 20 billion cameras and sensors are deployed into the wild to actually capture real-world data. We're talking about RGB, LiDAR, infrared, IMUs, thermal. And what this means is that all of this multimodal data presents just a disaster of APIs, SDKs, formats, and integration into 3D simulation tools. And it's truly become a painful mess that is blunting progress. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Evercoast. Evercoast is building the world's training ground for physical AI. Our software platform normalizes the chaos of AI data collection. We're the first platform to unify, spatially calibrate, and temporally synchronize multimodal data. You simply download Evercoast, plug in your cameras and sensors, and immediately you eliminate the fragmentation of hardware and the data lock-in and vendor lock-in that you get that are plaguing teams today. Our sensor fusion platform delivers spatial ground truth data that is rich in physics, spatial context, temporal continuity, occlusion. This is exactly the type of physical data, the type of data that physical AI needs. And the reason that it's perfect data for physical AI is really quite simple. Physical AI teams spend most of their time in 3D physics-based engines. These simulation engines thrive on dimensional, spatial, temporal data. Evercoast provides a seamless platform to be able to get real-world data into the simulator. This is where our clients live. They live in these simulation tools. The U.S. Air Force is speeding robotic training using Evercoast by capturing humans performing repair tasks on F-16s, bringing that into simulation, and then using the their simulated AI to actuate robots to then go perform those tasks. And the process doesn't stop there. They use that same software to monitor the robots on an ongoing basis to understand and reinforce learning. Accenture, Eclipse Automation, the U.S. Department of Energy, Hinge Health, NYU's Center for Robotics and Embodied Intelligence, many others are using our platform to train physical AI. We've built up 1.1 million in ARR over the past roughly 18 months using some pretty incredible technology and a fairly straightforward business model. We have a SaaS license for software that gets deployed on-prem. We have a cloud platform for spatial inference and processing that is priced per data minute. And we are launching a dataset API because we have one of the world's largest data sets of this type of multi-view data. This is a data set years in the making. And this new API will give access to our customers to train on the breadth and scale and diversity of the data that we have, something that would cost them millions of dollars and years to recreate. The next big AI breakthroughs will come from this sort of specialized, very domain-specific, high-quality multimodal data. It's also really important to understand that this is not just about, capturing humans doing something, training a robot to do it, and you're done. The real gains in physical AI come from being able to look at the robot and capture the robot in the same way and understand when it fails, what it's doing wrong and why. That is incredibly sticky and high value. So we're doing 1.1 million in ARR today. How do we get to 100? Well, first, good old-fashioned land and expand. And I'm going to use the Air Force as another example here. We just deployed on an Air Force base in Georgia, 1 work cell. Immediately, they have plans to scale to over a dozen work cells. This is on an Air Force base that has hundreds of work cells, and this is just 1 Air Force base. Many of our customers fit that kind of profile. The second is by driving cloud volume. We have a usage-based recurring model that will scale automatically as our customers succeed. And lastly is really by driving this data network effect. We have a flywheel of data as a gift that keeps on giving. This is making our products smarter for our customers. It is making the moat deeper for our competitors, and it is compounding value for our investors. We've also got a couple really good patents for multimodal capture and simulation-grade data. But ultimately, as we all know, it all comes down to team. We are 14 people strong, with some of the world's top talent in spatial machine learning, computer vision, and computer graphics. We come from teams from organizations like Microsoft Research, Stanford, Weta Digital, Pixar, Adobe, Sony, a number of different high-profile places. This is startup number 6 for me. I've had 2 successful exits. You can do the math on the rest. This is my life's work, and I absolutely love it. So I'm excited about what we're doing. We built all of this on a $700,000 safe note raised 3 years ago. We are raising $8 million now to go attack a sales pipeline that has grown to over 10 million in ARR. We will hit 20 million in ARR in 24 months. I kind of want to close with this thought. We're at the DataTribe Challenge, so ultimately this is an incredible data integrity problem. Companies are building physical AI without the real-world data to perceive, to decide, and to act. The next cyber battlefield is not virtual. It is embodied. And the only question is really whether it's trained on real-world ground truth data or guesswork. And Evercoast is here to make sure that it's truth. Thank you.
Great presentation. I'm kind of curious what you meant by the phrase, we have a flywheel of data. What does that mean?
Well, not all of our customers, companies like the U.S. Air Force, live in a black box. Many of our other customers use our cloud platform where all of that data flows into a central repository. We have the rights to be able to train on that data. We've also been creating data on our own for years. So we have a very large data set and continue to get more and more data on a daily basis. And so that's what we mean by a flywheel.
So when you collect those data models, do you license those models?
No, that'll remain in a black box. It'll be surfaced via an API. We will not and do not have the rights to actually sort of, send that data out, nor would we. It's not, we wouldn't let that data out of the house.
There is certainly a demand for data no matter where you look. So excellent market. It's kind of hard to measure though. I'm kind of curious if there have been customers who have emerged or that are much more in the like native AI space as opposed to a specific robotic application. So building foundation models for robots as an example.
Yeah, we can't talk about some of the customers who kind of fit into that category, but we can talk about, so Hinge Health is a good example. It's a publicly traded musculoskeletal AI company. They've been training on two-dimensional data to create a pose estimation model that they use they built it called TrueMotion. They've been doing that for years. They built up a pretty impressive model that runs on a mobile phone to understand your physical motion and performing physical therapy exercises. They switched over to start using our system and our software, and it has just exponentially grown the performance of that model. It has done incredibly well. They just re-upped for another year, doubled the amount of cloud inference that they're doing. So that's more of an example of something that is not actually something that's actuated as a robot into the real world, but something that is more of a model, a specialized model that's built in-house.
So who do you sell to, ICP-wise, and how do you actually deliver it?
Ultimately, we sell to simulation teams. That's sort of who's reaching out to us as companies who are, the people at companies who are, trying to work in simulation. They're trying to collect this data. So we're selling to data collection companies. We're selling to simulation teams. What we end up delivering is there's two components to our software. There's sensor orchestration, where we deliver software that they just plug in their sensors and cameras and can sort of capture whatever they need to capture, and it sort of normalizes all of that data into a central system. And then the second component is really sensor fusion. We can take all of that, we can unify it, spatially calibrate it, temporally synchronize it, extract objects, pose, segmentation, a number of different sort of intelligent data outputs that we can then bring into and ultimately are sort of plugins and tools into Isaac Sim, into Mujoko from Google DeepMind, from Unity, Unreal Engine, a number of Siemens Process Automate. There's a number of different sort of simulation tools that we work to get our data supported in.
What does your roadmap look like in terms of how do you keep a customer year to year? I buy your subscription. I run all my 2D things through it. I get it all done. I'm done with the platform, kind of like mid-journey, and I stop my subscription. Like, how do you keep customers coming back?
It really is about more about reinforcement. I'm reinforcement learning and just sort of that ongoing feedback loop and understanding really what the robot is doing on an ongoing basis. And that comes down to security and safety. So it's not just about sort of capturing a human and, okay, I can record this person doing this task. I can train my robot to do it. I'm done. It's really about, oftentimes, you bring it into simulation. It works great in simulation. It always does. You go actuate it into the world and it just doesn't work in the same way. And then on an ongoing basis, how do you monitor that robot? How do you continue to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing? So this isn't just about sort of these one and done type things. It's really about an ongoing system where these, like I mentioned, there's 20 billion cameras and sensors that are getting deployed into the wild every year. And it's just this kind of mess of APIs and SDKs. And, we provide an orchestration layer for that that is not going anywhere.
Is there any particular type of footage you would like to see more of come through your platform?
I think there's a lot of this specialized human tasks that are, being done. There's a lot of seeing like pick and place out of boxes just to be able to A lot of that's been done from just sort of ego view, and sort of teams want to be able to understand the physical surroundings of that. One thing we're working on is being able to synchronize, sort of headsets, sort of ego view glasses, along with external arrays. So you get both, either a sensor mounted to the end of a robotic arm, or if a human is performing that task, they might wear glasses from Meta or something to be able to look at the thing that they're doing, perform it, but then actually synchronize that with an external array and be able to unify all that together. So we're pretty excited about that kind of data because we think there's sort of that can unlock a lot of sort of intelligence.
2 questions about your moat. First would be, to what extent do you have to use contract work to fill in the generation cycle? Like, you get a contract, the contractor wants certain amounts of data, you go hire a bunch of contractors to do that data generation for them?
We don't do, we have, but our primary business model is to license software. So this software gets installed on-prem. It is not something that we're doing that data collection for, those organizations. They are running our software on site. And so, now that we've deployed on that one work cell at the Air Force, there's nothing we need to be able to do in order for them to scale to a dozen work cells. It is just software that runs.
And then on the software side, are you using, to what extent are you using groundbreaking new science, photogrammetry, other techniques to sort of tie all this together?
Yeah, and our whole team comes from, volumetric data. So that world is really somewhat new. A lot of it actually kind of came out of, a lot of our guys came from Pixar and Weta Digital and came from, places where they were making Hollywood movies and went from using motion capture data to, volumetric data where you could actually see the person's skin and hair and eyes and didn't have to recreate all that. And if you can get somebody's face looking perfectly, boy, is that valuable, in time and other organizations. So that technology is there are very few companies in the world that can actually do that and do that well, and do it not just on a photogrammetric level or from a static standpoint, but making this temporally consistent and dynamic, in motion, be able to capture tasks being performed, is highly specialized and unique. And I think the time in the market is actually sort of opening up for us.
Do you see a consumer grade product coming out, something that somebody could use and train, put their own videos in of stuff that they can do and having it convert?
Yes, I think there are, we're working on some, kind of mobile app based, and also some of the glasses in order to be able to, capture some of that data. Some of the companies are sort of hiring, people to pay you at your home to watch you, fold your laundry, or wash your dishes. So being able to provide software that, goes above and beyond sort of what you can just basically do with a 2D video is something we are working on, and something that, part of the money will go to that we're raising. Some of that is also around our generative capabilities that tie to, the data sets that we have. We have an ability to sort of use very sparse arrays. We're not using, 100 cameras. We're using very sparse data because we have generative capabilities to fill in, and interpolate between viewpoints. So we've done a lot of work in 4D Gaussian splatting and other techniques to, just to be able to sort of use sparser data sets.
Do you have any competitors?
Absolutely not. I gotta say that we are the only company who is unifying, multimodal sensor data, spatially calibrating it, and temporally synchronizing it. There are companies who, there are large organizations like, Bentley or Hexagon or others who have, sort of data collection capabilities in 3D. But they're really the world of sort of 4D dynamic, spatially calibrated, temporally synchronized data is very small.
Do you see a world where I could train my own robot to do stuff that I do that only I know how to do?
Definitely. I think it gets back to your question about, there we go. It gets back to, all right, anyway. Thanks, guys.